Good morning, dear students. Okay, we were talking about phrases. Last week we learned what are phrases. Okay, phrases are a group of words that helps to form a sentence. Okay, that means it can be a part of a sentence, but it does not give complete sense as a sentence does. Okay, and we have learned different types of phrases like adjective phrase, adverb phrase, noun phrase, etc. Okay, I think you remember it. Now we will learn what's a clause. Okay, and for that look at these sentences, clauses. For example, first sentence, he is eating. Second sentence, the teacher laughed at the joke. Third one, she met the man who had helped her. Last sentence, Ram is wearing a shirt which looks good. Okay, and do you see any difference between these sentences? Or we will divide the sentence according to its structure. Okay, look here, he is eating. Okay, if you divide the structure, he is subject and this is predicate. Okay. Remember that this is a verb phrase since it has two words. Okay, next sentence, the teacher laughed at the joke. Okay, you see teacher subject, laughed at the joke, that is predicate. This is actually a phrase but a part of that sentence. Okay, I told you that phrase becomes part of the sentence. That is why that stands as a part of the sentence. Okay, the teacher laughed at the joke. Together it constitutes the predicate of the sentence. Third sentence, she met the man who had helped her. Okay, what's the subject here? She subject. Okay, this together, how many verbs are there? Met is one verb, helped is another verb. Two verbs are there. Okay, here another subject is, that is a relative clause. Okay, so when there are two subjects and two predicates, this cannot be called a phrase, or we cannot tell that it has one subject and one predicate. Okay, and a clause is a group of words which constitute the subject and predicate. A clause has subject and predicate. Phrase doesn't have subject and predicate. Okay, and clause will have subject and predicate. Subject means the person or the doer of the action. Predicate means verb and whatever comes along with the verb. And the object will be there, adverb will be there. Okay, whatever comes there, that is predicate part. Here you listen. She met the man. She is subject, met verb, and met the man, that is predicate. Okay, and here that is a relative pronoun. That means that stands for the noun or subject. And had helped, that is verb. Had helped her, that is predicate. So how many subjects and how many predicates are there? Two. Okay, she subject, here again relative pronoun, who, us, subject. So two subject and two predicate. So this is one clause and here there is another clause. Okay, a sentence can be one clause, two clause, three clause, or more than three. Okay, so there must be a clause. Sometimes a simple sentence, sometimes a simple sentence will have only a single clause. Simple sentence will have only a single clause. And we will see the sentences, compound sentence, simple sentence, complex sentence, etc. are there. All these are based on the clauses. Okay, here you see there is one subject and one predicate. Two clauses are here in this single sentence. Okay, first clause is she met the man, and second that is who had helped her. Okay. So, and we will analyze this next sentence after what is the clause. Ram is wearing a shirt which looks good. Okay, and let's analyze the structure of the sentence. Raman, that is subject, is wearing a shirt, that is predicate. Wearing, that is a verb, main verb. Okay, and here there is auxiliary verb. Together there is a phrase, that is a verb phrase. And a shirt, that is object. Together this is called the predicate. Raman is subject, is wearing a shirt, that is predicate. Here again, which, that is a relative pronoun. Okay. Looks, that is verb. Looks good, that is predicate. Okay, children. But you see, even though there are two clauses in these two sentences, both of it will not give complete sense. For example, she met the man. Okay, that's complete in its meaning. She met the man. If someone says she met the man, everything is clear. But who had helped her? That is not a complete sentence. It does not give a complete sense. Okay, a clause that gives complete sense is called main clause. In a sentence, there must be a main clause. Okay, subordinate clause there can be or cannot be. That's not compulsory. But in order to make a sentence, a main clause is compulsory. Or independent clause, main clause or independent clause. You know the meaning of independent. That means it does not want to depend on another clause in order to have complete sense. Okay, here you see, she met the man. That is a independent clause or the main clause of the sentence. And here, had helped to her. That is subordinate clause or dependent clause. Okay, why it is called subordinate or dependent? Because in order to get complete sense, this clause must have to depend on the main clause. Okay, and if we say this clause alone, we won't get complete sense. We get some ideas, but its meaning is not very clear. That's it. Okay, but more than a phrase, it gives meaning because it has subject and predicate. Okay, so children, she met the man, that is a main clause. Who had helped her, that is a subordinate clause. Again, Raman is wearing a shirt. That's clear, the meaning is clear. Okay, we'll understand everything of this clause. Okay, so this is called main clause or independent clause, which looks good. Which looks good, that is incomplete in its sense. So that is called subordinate clause or dependent clause. Okay, do you understand what is a main clause and what is a subordinate clause? Main clause will give you complete sense. So a simple sentence will have only a main clause. Okay, it doesn't want any other clause. So a simple sentence will have only a single clause and that clause will be main clause. She is eating. Meaning is complete there. That is a main clause. Okay, I hope you understood what is a clause and what is a main clause and what is a subordinate clause. Otherwise, what is a dependent clause and what is an independent clause. Clauses can be divided into three types. That is noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause according to its function. Okay, you know what is the role of a noun, what is the role of an adjective and what is the role of an adverb. Okay, and based on that, based on its function, we can divide the clauses into noun, adjective and adverb clauses. Okay, and first we will see what is an adjective clause. We need a teacher who had 2 years of experience. Okay, let's divide the structure of this sentence. Okay, and first we will identify which is the main clause and which is the subordinate clause. We, that's the subject. Need, verb, a teacher, object. Okay, so one clause completes here. Here, who, that's a relative pronoun. Again, had, that's the main verb. Okay. 2 years of experience together, it will constitute the predicate of that part. Okay, that clause. Okay, which is the main clause and which is the subordinate clause. We need a teacher. That is perfect in its meaning. So that is called main clause or independent clause. Who had 2 years of teaching experience, that is not complete in its sense. That is why that is a subordinate clause. Okay, and how can we say this is an adjective? Okay, we need a teacher. We need usually adjective will be placed just before the noun, and instead of it we can say we need an experienced teacher. Isn't it? We need an experienced teacher. Experienced is used as an adjective. Okay, instead of that, that is developed into a clause here. Who had 2 years of teaching experience. Okay, and it tells more about this teacher. Object. We need a teacher who had 2 years of teaching experience. So, it does the function of an adjective because it talks more about this noun teacher. Adjective describes more about noun and it does the function of an adjective. That is why even though it is a clause, since it does the function of an adjective, that is called adjective clause. Okay, next sentence. The house where I live has 4 rooms. It is not compulsory that the main clause or the subject and predicate should be arranged together. Okay, let's divide the subject and predicate here. The house, that's the subject here, and it continues here only. The house has 4 rooms. Has 4 rooms, that is a predicate, and this is inserted in between. Where I live, where, that is a relative pronoun. Okay, and here I live. That is a subject, and here I live. This is incomplete. So this is subordinate clause, and this is main. When the house has 4 rooms, that is a main clause. Okay, and here the man who goes, but it talks about where I live. It talks about the house as a subject. Okay, you know that the nouns will be placed either in the place of a subject or in the place of a object. And it talks about the subject, the house. House, where I live. It talks about the noun house. That is why this is, it does the function of an adjective. So it is called adjective clause. Again here, the man who was shouting needed my help. Okay, what's the subject here? The man who was shouting needed my help. Okay, we'll take this part together. The man needed my help. This is the verb of the first subject. Okay, the man needed my help. And another clause is who was shouting. Who, that is a relative pronoun. Was shouting, that is a predicate part. So this is subordinate clause and this is main clause. The man needed my help, that is main clause, and this is subordinate clause. Again, and since it talks more about the man who was shouting talks about this man. That's why it does the function of an adjective. So this is called adjective clause. She wears a dress that looks nice on her. Okay, let's divide this structure of the sentence. She, subject, wears, verb, a dress, object. So it is complete. Okay, and next that is the relative pronoun. Looks, verb, and this is predicate part. Okay, so children, the first part gives us complete sense, whereas the second part is incomplete, and without depending on the first part it does not give complete sense. So this is called dependent clause or subordinate clause, and here it is called main clause or independent clause. Okay, and that looks nice. This clause talks about this dress. No, adjective talks more about noun. Here dress is noun and it describes more about this dress. That is why it does the function of an adjective. So this is called adjective clause. And usually by using these words who, were, whom, which and that, we will form subordinate clause or adjective clause. Okay, adjective clause we will form by beginning with the pronouns like who, were, whom, which, that, etc. Okay, clear? Let's analyze what is a noun clause. Okay, noun clause. We have already learned what is an adjective clause. We will learn what is a noun clause. Okay, look at these sentences. Whatever you learn will help you in future. Whatever you learn will help you in future. Okay, we'll divide this sentence into two. Whatever you learn. This is not complete in its sense. Okay, but it starts with whatever will help you in future. Okay, so this does the function of a subject or object. You know, noun can be placed either as a subject or an object. Okay, and in this sentence, it does the function of a subject because the verb starts after that. Okay, for example, Ram will help you in future. Instead of that Ram, we used the clause which has a subject and predicate. And it does the function of a subject. Whatever you learn, okay, will help you in future. So this is called a noun clause since it does the function of a noun or a subject here. In this sentence, it does the function of a subject. Okay, next sentence. What Dave is trying to say is not clear. Okay, we will divide into two parts. What Dave is trying to say, that is one clause, and it's not clear, that is another clause. But you see, here the main verb is only. What Dave is trying to say is not clear. So here it is not clear. For example, it is not clear. Instead of that, it is used here. What Dave is trying to say. So it does the function of a subject. Okay, that is why this is called a noun clause since the subject will be, noun will be used as a subject. This is called noun clause. Okay, see the next sentence. He knows that he will pass the exam. Okay, he, subject, knows, verb, and he knows what. Object always answers the question what. So, this together answers the question what. He knows what? He knows that he will pass the exam. So here the subordinate clause answers the question what, and it does the function of an object in a sentence. Okay, he knows what object. Okay, and here this stands for an object. That is why this is called a noun clause. Again, my father does not know why his employees were absent. Okay. My father does not know, that is one clause, why his employees were absent. Okay, my father does not know. My father's subject doesn't know, that is a verb, and doesn't know what. It answers the question what. So it stands for the object in a sentence. Object is always noun, so it does the function of an object. So this is also called a noun clause. Clear? Last, we will discuss what is an adverb clause. Okay. Children, look at these sentences. Do not go before he comes. Okay, if we divide this into two clauses, do not go, that is one clause, that is a main clause. Before he comes, that is a subordinate clause. Okay. And here it talks more about the verb go before he comes. So this is called, it does the function of an adverb. This is called adverb clause. Okay. This is incomplete in its sense. Before he comes, that is incomplete in its sense. So that is a dependent clause. And this dependent clause does the function of an adverb. So it is called adverb clause. You know how to find out adverbs. Okay, there are different types of adverbs. Manner, frequency, etc. Okay, time, etc. And this subordinate clause will be doing any of the functions of this. But if an adverb, modifies a verb, adverb or adjective. So here it does the function of an adverb by modifying the verb go. Although he tried a lot, he couldn't climb up the tree. It is a main clause. He couldn't climb up the tree. That is the main clause because it has a subject predicate and its meaning is complete. And here, although he tried a lot, that is incomplete in its sense, but it has subject and predicate. And this modifies the main clause. So this is called adverb. Okay. I will go to the school unless it rains. Okay, and which is the main clause? I will go to the school, that is the main clause. Unless it rains, there is a subordinate clause, and this is an adjective clause because it talks about when. Okay. Here you are safe as long as you try carefully. Okay, and it also answers the question when. You are safe when. As long as you drive carefully. And this is main clause. You are safe. That's the main clause. As long as you drive carefully, that's a subordinate clause. Your subject is there, predicate is there, and together that it also comes along with the predicate part. Okay. He takes medicine because he is ill. It answers the question by reason. Okay. He takes medicine. Okay, and it talks about takes. Why? Okay, so that is called adverb. It functions as adverb. Okay. I think that it's clear now what is an adjective clause, adverb clause, and noun clause. Mainly, you must know what is a dependent clause and independent clause, so that everything will be clear. Okay. Please do the exercise by yourself. Page number 160. Okay, filling the blanks by making phrases with words given in the box below. The number of blanks in each sentence indicates the number of words in each phrase. That means phrase means that must be a group of words. So you can take different words in order to complete an exercise. For example, first one we will discuss. Microbes are, how many blanks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blanks are there, so there must be 4 words. That's why we will choose a very important key part of the food chain. So there are 4. In such a way you must do that exercise. And next one, page number 161. Identify whether the following are phrases or clauses. Phrases will be a group of words only. It must not have complete sense. And if it is a phrase, you have to write in the right side P. And if it is a clause, you have to note down as C. First one, those red roses. There are 3 words, but it does not give complete sense. So that is not a clause. That is only phrase. So please write it as P. And in the similar way, do the exercise. Page number 163. Identify noun clauses in the following sentences. Mention the role played by the noun clause in each sentence. One has been done for you. 2 roles only it will have. That is one, it has object, or other one as subject. Okay. Next one is page number 165. Underline the adjective clauses in the following sentences and circle the nouns they describe. Adjective must describe the noun. So please underline the adjective clause first and circle the nouns. First one we will discuss. This is a school that nurtured me. That nurtured me, that is a noun clause, and it talks about school. So school is the noun. Last one, page number 166. Identify the main and adverbial clauses in the following sentences. Use different colors or pencils or pens. Okay, and Wangdi walks a mile every morning before he goes to school. First one is main clause and second one is subordinate. Before he goes to school, there is subordinate clause. Okay, and you can main clause you can either underline or you can use different ink. And subordinate clause either you can circle or you can use another ink. Okay, in such a way, please do the exercise. Thank you.